This is it, Falcons fans. Buckle up because we're diving into some serious buzz that could shake up Atlanta's secondary in a big way. There's one name floating around the NFL rumor mill that's got the Dirty Birds faithful talking, Jaylen Ramsay. Could the Falcons be eyeing a blockbuster move to bring the all-pro cornerback to Atlanta? Let's break it down. But before we get into the latest Falcons intel, if you're a die-hard Falcons fan or just love staying ahead of the game, make sure to subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and hit the bell icon so you never miss breaking news and sharp takes on all things Atlanta Falcons. All right, let's get into it. Main segment: clear, focused on Falcons. Here's where things get interesting. NFL Network's Cameron Wolfe recently reported that the Miami Dolphins may be ready to part ways with Jaylen Ramsay, and teams with close ties to him, including the Atlanta Falcons, are keeping a close eye. Why Atlanta? Simple. Raheem Morris, now head coach of the Falcons, was Ramsay's defensive coordinator back in 2021 when the Rams won the Super Bowl. That season, arguably Ramsay's finest. Chemistry, proven. Scheme fit, seamless. Atlanta's coaching staff already knows how to get the best out of him. But here's the twist. The Dolphins just gave Ramsay a 3-year extension, making him the highest-paid cornerback in the league. And now, less than a year later, they're ready to move on? Something doesn't add up. Is this about locker room dynamics, commitment, attitude? We don't know for sure. But what we do know is this. Teams won't make a move unless they get clarity on what's gone wrong in Miami. That's step one. Now, for the Falcons, this wouldn't just be a splash move, it would be a statement. Atlanta's secondary has talent, but bringing in a leader like Ramsay could elevate this defense to a whole new level under Morris's system. So, is a reunion in the works? We'll be watching closely. All right, Falcons fans, let's talk business. Specifically, let's talk money, because that's where the real story begins. If the Falcons had serious interest in Jaylen Ramsay, they'd have to consider one major financial hurdle: timing. For the Dolphins, moving Ramsay before June 1st would hit them hard with dead cap in 2025. But if they wait until after June 1st, they can spread the financial burden over 2 seasons. A $19 million difference. That's huge. So don't expect any real movement until we're into June. But even then, let's be honest. Jaylen Ramsay in an Atlanta jersey still feels like a long shot. Here's why. The Falcons have been quietly but deliberately building their secondary this offseason. They signed Mike Hughes to a 3-year deal. They brought back D. Alford, a guy they trust. Then they added Billy Bowman Jr., who they're developing as a nickelback, and grabbed Kobe Bryant, a highly praised undrafted pickup. They didn't stop there. Mike Ford was brought in for depth and experience. And in the draft, Atlanta went right back to the secondary, selecting not one but 2 defensive backs. This isn't guesswork. It's a clear strategy. So ask yourself, if the Falcons are investing this much in their current roster, why disrupt that with a high-profile veteran like Ramsay? Especially when you've already spent the offseason giving younger guys a real shot to earn their spot. Yes, the Raheem Morris-Jaylen Ramsay connection is real. It's tempting. But this defense is being built for the long haul, not just a headline signing. There's also talk about Ramsay possibly transitioning to safety. That's interesting, but even there, Atlanta is stacked. Jesse Bates III is the leader. They just drafted Xavier Watts. They added Jordan Fuller too. The backfield is crowded, and adding another major contract just doesn't line up with the Falcons' blueprint. Could it happen? In the NFL, never say never. But if you're asking me today, Ramsay's future likely isn't in Atlanta. And honestly, the Falcons might be better off staying the course with the young, hungry secondary they've built from the ground up. Let's get real about this. Could the Falcons find a spot for Jaylen Ramsay on their roster? Technically, yes. But should they? That's where things get tricky, and where smart teams separate themselves. Atlanta didn't draft Xavier Watts in the 3rd round just to have him sit and watch a veteran take his snaps. They moved up to get him. That's not a small investment. Wasting 25% of a rookie deal on a bench role makes 0 sense, especially when this front office has clearly shown they believe in developing young talent. Ramsay's still a strong player, no doubt about it, But if Atlanta brings him in and suddenly sidelines Watts, Billy Bowman, or even a promising UDFA like Kobe Bryant, what message does that send? Why invest in youth only to bury it? And remember, Atlanta already gave up valuable draft capital for next season. Their first and fifth round picks are gone. This is not the time to make another aggressive move unless it's absolutely necessary. And in this case, it simply isn't. This team is finally building depth and structure in the secondary. They've got leadership in Jesse Bates III, a versatile chess piece in Jordan Fuller, and fresh legs coming in to push the pace. Ramsay might bring flash, but the Falcons are chasing fit and foundation. So if you're asking whether the Falcons should make a play for Ramsay, the answer is no. Not because he's not talented, but because they're already building something better long-term. The path Atlanta's on now? It's about staying disciplined, trusting the draft board, and letting young players prove they belong. That's how sustainable winners are built. And the Falcons finally look like they're getting serious about becoming one. All right, let's talk real. You've probably heard a ton of wild takes about the Falcons and the Raiders over the last year. And yes, some of them aged like milk. But here's the truth. This league punishes hesitation more than it punishes boldness. If you want to win, you've got to risk being wrong. Yes, Kirk Cousins is in Atlanta, and yes, that move shook the foundation of everything people expected this offseason. While many were still wondering about Justin Fields, the Falcons pivoted hard and committed to a veteran with leadership, stability, and the arm to push the ball. And just when it looked like the story was set, Michael Penix Jr. was selected at number 8. That wasn't just a surprise, it was a message. The Falcons are thinking long-term, and they're not scared of headlines. Meanwhile, Las Vegas is in full reset mode. The Raiders have cycled through coaches, quarterbacks, and culture shifts. They're searching for identity while the Falcons are building one. The two teams feel like they're heading in opposite directions, one planting flags, the other still drawing maps. And yeah, people laugh at strong takes when they go wrong. But what's worse? Being loud and occasionally wrong, or being quiet and forgotten? In a league driven by passion and unpredictability, the Falcons are giving fans something to talk about. Whether it's Raheem Morris leading the charge or shocking first-round decisions, they're not playing it safe. They're swinging for something bigger. The journey hasn't always been clean, and it won't always be comfortable. But for Falcons fans, this feels different. This feels like a team ready to define its own era. As for the Raiders, time will tell. They've got talent, but they're still waiting for the right spark. No more looking backward. The NFC South is wide open, and Atlanta's making moves like a team ready to take it. Rise up.